Hey everyone, today I'm doing something rather different. This is sort of like a DIY video, except you get to eat your project. That means basically we're doing cooking today. So, recently, obviously we had Thanksgiving just a few days ago. The pie that my mom ordered from a local bakery was unsatisfactory. She did not like it, I did not like it, nobody liked it really. It was a pumpkin pie, it was kind of small. And the flavoring in the pumpkin pie, the problem was you bit into it, you took that first bite and you really couldn't taste any pumpkin. All I could taste was cloves and nutmeg. No, I don't like that. And also you could tell that the pumpkin flesh came from a can. It wasn't actual like pumpkin from a pumpkin. I mean, yes, it was pumpkin from a pumpkin, but it had been canned. I don't like canned food. I really hate canned food. The only thing I'm okay with from a can is like some vegetables or maybe some beans, something like that. When I make a pumpkin pie, I actually will slay and gut a pumpkin. That's how you make pumpkin pie. So anyway, I'm experimenting with a new version of the same pumpkin pie recipe that I've used for many years now. I'm going to make it a little bit more eggy, a little bit more custardy, and my mom has a major sweet tooth, so she requested that I add in a little bit more sugar, which I'm going to do. So, but I'm going to show you guys what you need in order to do this. Okay, you will be needing a pie shell. This is a pre-made store-bought pie shell. I do have my own pie crust recipe, just I don't know, I can't put my hands on the recipe right now. And so just to make this video quick, I decided to use this. And do make sure it's thawed out. I've got 4 eggs here. I've got some brown sugar. It's a bit of a rock, but that's okay. It will turn soft and get wet and sort of melt once it goes into the bowl. You're going to need heavy whipping cream. You're going to need an ass ton of regular white sugar. You're going to need vanilla extract, and this is actually homemade vanilla extract. My cousin Jimmy made this. So you're going to need also nutmeg, cloves, ginger, and cinnamon. Of course, pumpkin guts. I've got about 2.5 cups worth in here from an actual pumpkin. And you're also going to need the ancient hand mixer. I'm pretty sure 9 out of 10 households has an ancient mixer, like a Kenmore or a Sunbeam, perhaps. So anyway, or maybe even an Electrolux, but this is from like the 70s. It's rather old. Just a tip with your hand mixer, you always want to put the prongs in before you plug in the mixer so that you don't end up like that guy in the brownie batter milkshake commercial. So you're also going to need a large rubber spatula. This one's heat resistant. I have no idea who manufactured it. I remember buying it at a restaurant supply store. It's really awesome. I have had it for a very long time. So that'll come in very handy. Alright, so there are your ingredients in a nutshell. And we'll get around to where to set the oven and all that stuff in just a wee bit. So in the meantime, sit tight and I'm going to get this stuff shifted over to this big empty spot over here so we can get started. So go ahead and gather your ingredients and come back in a few minutes. Okay, we're ready to get started. Now, real quick, I want to explain something about the pie crust. In case your pie, for whatever reason, bubbles over, you want to make sure you've got a barrier so that you don't end up having to clean your oven. So, you want to use aluminum. You want to use an aluminum, okay, not dark, because reason being is that actually the dark metal or coated metal will get hot a lot faster, and the underside of your pie, the bottom of your shell, will be exposed to that for longer. Okay, and actually it'll make the bottom overdone. Interesting tidbit of information there. So, alright, well I've got everything I need here ready. So, tell you what, let's get started. Now, got my pumpkin guts, and once again, that's about 2.5 cups worth. So, Mom says she wanted lots of sugar, so let's give her lots of sugar. Let's do the brown sugar. And I have 1/4 cup baking measure here. And I'm not really going to put a whole 1/4 cup in there because that's just too much brown sugar. Brown sugar actually has molasses. That is why it is brown and soft and kind of damp. It's molasses. And molasses, being that it's very sticky and heavy itself, actually can cause problems and interferences when it comes to your baking. So you want to use it rather minimally, unless it's something that calls for brown sugar, such as cookies, because brown sugar in cookies actually helps keep the cookies soft. And it is a bit of a brick, so I'm going to loosen some up. I'm going to see what I can come up with here. I feel a little bit silly doing this, but I'd say that's good. A few little rocks worth inside of a 1/4 cup baking measure. So we're just going to put those in. And that's all you really need. The brown sugar adds just a nice flavor, if nothing else. And one way actually to resaturate or rehydrate brown sugar that is dried up is you put it in a plastic container with a few slices of bread, and it will pull the moisture out of the slices of bread so that your sugar will become soft again. Eggs. Let me get a paper towel. Alright, some of you may have seen this before, some of you may not have. I have 4 eggs here. Now here's the correct way to crack an egg. You bash it once, and then with one hand you drop the contents of the egg into the bowl. You have to separate the crack, though, in a motion kind of like this. That's how you separate the egg and open it once you've bashed it. Like that. See? Easy. Now you try. That was a little less than perfect, but you know what? We're all human. As long as the pie is edible, right? And the last one. And when you crack your egg, you don't want to bash it down there and hold it. You want to make a real quick, really quick, like a whip-like motion. Real quick. Crunch. Crunch, like a lightning strike. You don't want to be slow about it. You just want to be real quick, or like a snake bite, real fast. And another tip, boys and girls, is that you definitely want to clean up messes as they occur, because if you've got messes and stuff all over your surfaces, it's going to get onto things where you don't want it. For instance, it could get onto my measure here, and then I could have raw egg in the sugar, which would not be good. It would transfer. So you always want to clean up your messes as they occur. And I've got some soapy dishwater right here, so I'm just going to go ahead and take care of this raw egg business real quick. Very easy. See? That didn't take too long. Always just clean up your messes as they occur. Okay, so we've got our eggs and our brown sugar. What next is when we get our regular sugar. And this scoop thing is in the way, so I'm going to take it out for just a moment. Okay, here's one. There's 2. And see, she said she wanted lots of sugar, but that just looks like a lot to me. I can't stand super duper sweet confections. If I'm eating a pie, I want it to taste like the fruit that's in it. I want to taste apple or peach or cherry, not sugar. Throw in a little bit more, and if it's still not sweet enough, then I'll just tell her, you know what, screw you, make your own goddamn pie. That's what I'll tell her. Alright, that should be enough of that. Let's move it out of the way. So that was roughly 2 1/2 of these, which makes a little more than 1/2 cup of sugar. Okay, now, the heavy whipping cream. Many people may not know this, but whipped cream does not come from a can. It comes from this substance called cream. And you gotta whip it with a hand mixer. And it turns into whipped cream. So, now I always eyeball my cream. Being that I have a lot of eggs in here and that we're kind of going for a custardy texture, I'm gonna add a little bit more cream than usual. And this is one of those things where if you're baking at home doing this, I suggest you eyeball as well. It's a matter of just trial and error. So, sorry I cannot provide for you a measurement on this. But I guess I could actually. You know, I can just pour it directly in here, can't I? How silly of me. Alright. 1. 2. 3. A little more. That's that's a little bit more than 3/4 of a cup. So you could round up to a cup easily if you wanted, or you could round down to just 3/4. So, okay, there's nothing else that needs to be measured with this thing, so I'm going to get it out of the way. I'm going to put the cap back on the cream and scoot it back where it was. Okay, now time for seasonings. Let's start with the vanilla. You know, I like a lot of vanilla because I think it really smooths what you're baking. So I'm going to probably pour in about half of what's here. And that's probably maybe 1 tablespoon and a half, I'm guessing. So I'm just going to drizzle in. Yeah, what the hell, just add all of it. Don't want the little vanilla beans to come out. Okay. Oh, that smells so good. I can't bring myself to throw away the little vanilla beans. They're just too cool. And I think my dad just came home. Alright, nutmeg. You don't want to put a whole lot because nutmeg can turn bitter if you put too much in. So we're just going to put a few sprinkles. And also it can be a real powerful flavor, so be careful with it. And I'm going to go ahead and pour in quite a bit of cinnamon. Now ginger can be very spicy and very powerful as well, so you want to use it sparingly. And the oven's preheated to 375. 400 seemed a little too high, 350 seemed a little too low. 375 is a temperature that I use a great deal. Cloves, which can also be powerful, so you want to use them sparingly, again. And we're going to move this stuff out of the way. And now guess what we get to do. Alright, you want to start out slow. Okay, you want to stop midway and kind of get this stuff off the beaters and back down into your filling. I thought I heard my dad come home. I don't know. If he comes in here, I'll just holler, "I'm filming," and he'll leave me alone. He's pretty good about not being a pain. My mother, on the other hand, you just want to scrape all these ingredients that got splashed up on the side. You want to scrape them down into your mixture so that you can mix them in, so you're not missing anything. And I'm just going to lay this down on the thing the eggs were sitting on. A little spoon rest. And here we go again. I think that got it. Alright, eject. And I will not be looking at because I do not like raw pumpkin. Alright, you get your mixer out of the way. Alright, if you have mixing bowls that have little pour spouts and handles on them, I suggest you use them because they are very useful. Alright, we've got our filling and our pie crust. And we're just going to slowly pour it in so it doesn't splash everywhere. Oh boy, this is a lot of filling. Oh well, it'll be fine. Actually, that is rather full, so I will not be scraping the bowl. Get it out of the way. I'm going to stick this in the oven, and I will get back with you in just a moment. And see, look, because we cleaned up as we were going along, there's not a big mess to clean up, see? All I have to do is put away all these ingredients. That's all I have to do. So, okay, the time is now 1:40, so I think at 10 after 2, 30 minutes should be enough time for me to at least come check it. So what I'm going to do though is show you guys in the oven. Oh, can't really see it that great. There we go. See, the benefit of cleaning up as you go along, like I said, I'm going to say it again, is that when you're done, when you're like, you've put your stuff in the oven, all you have to do is put away your ingredients and then you can just chill out. You don't have this big disastrous mess to clean up. You don't have to stress and fuss. So I'm going to clean everything up and I'll be getting back with you guys in about 30 minutes. Okay, it is 2:09. So let's see what's happening in here. That looks like a pumpkin pie to me. Let's see if I can get my little tripod to work so you guys can see. All right. Always use mitts. Okay, oh, never mind. It's still very, very, like, runny in the middle. Like, I grabbed the pan that it's on, and to pull it out, and the middle went. So it's not done. So I just hope it doesn't get, like, burnt. It's starting to look a little bit brown around some of the edges, but just leave it in there for maybe another 15 minutes, I guess. So at 2:25, we'll check it again. I just checked the pumpkin pie, and I'm pretty sure it's done. So, it did rise quite a bit, mainly because of the egg content, but hey, that's what Mom said she wanted. So, but here's the thing. This poofiness will sink. It'll flatten itself out. In fact, I'm sitting here watching it and it looks like the middle is already starting to. But this coloring, this is what you're going for. This sort of tan and orange harvest sort of color. And a little bit of dark brown maybe in the crevices of the pie crust. So, yeah. And it does smell really, really good. So I'm going to leave it alone for a while and let it finish setting up and sinking and doing what it needs to do. Time for the test. Does seem rather custardy. It is very custardy. Still could use way more sugar though. I am satisfied. This concludes our video.